Hi guys, how are you? We are today gonna be reviewing another Colourpop collection. I feel like Colourpop keeps releasing new and new stuff all the time, and I was just looking on the website saying that like new arrivals to see what the price that I paid, and I had to scroll down to so much of new products that I was so crazy puzzled. Like, I just bought it a week and a half ago and you released so much new stuff. We're gonna be reviewing the new Becky G Collection today. I grabbed everything. I was lucky to grab everything. Normally, like, majority of stuff is sold out by the time I get to the website. So I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know much about Becky G until Colourpop released the collection, and I went online and kind of googled her. I fell in love with all her songs. I'm a crazy fan of her music. Yeah, it was really nice to discover a new singer. I'm always kind of constantly looking for new music, and this was really nice. So Becky G released a palette, a few highlighters, some lippies. I was able to grab all of that. She released one palette, two highlighters, the loose highlighters, which I never tried before. This is like my first time trying the loose highlighters, and a whole bunch of lip products. I think it's 3 mattes and 2 satin. I tested all the products. I tried every single shade in the palette and every single highlighter, and I have an opinion about the products. So without further ado, let's jump into the review. First thing first, the palette will cost you $58 US. If you're shipping to Canada, I don't believe I paid any duties on it. I think everything was duty kind of paid. In this collection, if you pay $58, you're gonna get one palette, 2 highlighters, 2 loose highlighters, and 5 lippies, which, if you break it down, is not that bad. If you pay like separately for all that, it will cost you $64.50. Colourpop recently changed something with the shipping. I could not be more upset about it. So what happened is, I don't know if that's the same thing in Canada as in US, but what happened is, I came home, and I live in an apartment building. I came home and my package was sitting outside of the main door. I was just curious to see who it is for. I didn't even think it was my package, but I thought maybe my husband ordered something and it was my name on it, and I was so shocked because before Colourpop never delivered like that. I'm kind of hesitant now to order something from Colourpop because they're gonna live outside of my door and I don't know if it's gonna make it to me. So that's one thing. Another thing, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they used to package everything in the box, and now it kind of came in a soft envelope, and some of the packaging was a little bit damaged. So that's another thing that I'm not so happy about that. I don't know if that's just the collection that they kind of changed the shipping, or something has to do with the Canada Post being on strike. Definitely didn't appreciate the shipping part. I feel like I wanna talk about the highlighters first. So highlighter comes in this pretty uni carton, very like florally. I really like how the packaging is looking for the uni carton. I think it's super pretty cute and adorable. It comes in this pot container, and it kind of looks similar to the loose powder. So when you open it, it has this loose powder sitting in. Now, if you were to purchase the highlighter separately, you'd pay $7 US for the highlighter, for one shade. You get about 3.1 grams per pot for each highlighter. I have 2. I have the shade Chisme and I have the shade Princesa. Princesa is more like a golden pink shade, and Chisme is very like golden shade. I'm gonna do the swatches. This is Chisme. The formula is very like, it is powdery, but it's also super soft. Princesa looks super white in the container. So here are the 2 highlighter swatch. This is Chisme and this is Princesa. I don't know if the camera picks up anything right now. I cannot see my viewfinder if I get any shine. Chisme is the highlighter that I'm wearing on my cheek, and I think it is really pretty. But both of the highlighters have some glitter in it. So if you don't like glitter in your highlighter, you're most likely not gonna like the highlighter itself. I find that the 2 formulas are slightly different. I find that Princesa is super glittery, while Chisme is more on the verge of shimmer glitter, and it is not as glittery. So if I would be choosing between the 2, I would definitely go for Chisme. I think it works fine on my lighter skin. It does not look like it doesn't belong there. It looks actually really pretty. I don't care for the Princesa. I just find it too glittery, and it's not something that I normally gravitate. I don't like glitters in my highlighters. Like, both of the highlighters will look pretty on the skin, but one of them is more glittery than the other one. Next, let's talk about the palette. The palette called Salvaje. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't speak Spanish, so I tried my husband. He speaks Spanish, and I'm like, how do you say this word? So he told me, and I think I forgot how to say those words. But regardless, this is how the uni carton looks. Really pretty, the same as the highlighter packaging. On the back you have all the names. This is how the palette looks, very similar to uni carton. The same thing on the back, you have all the shade names. The one most amazing thing that Colourpop did, I don't remember this happening before, but now all the shades have their names underneath. How amazing is this? I am so happy. One thing to tell you that obviously I tried the palette, I tried every single shade on my eyes now, and I have pretty good opinion on the palette. Please disregard this shade. I kind of stuck my nail by accident, and I took a big chunk out of the shade, so this is not the shipping problem, it's my finger problem. So the palette by itself will cost you $18 Canadian, and I think it's pretty fair price. You get 12 shades in the palette, and each kind of shade will cost you about $1.5, which is not that crazy. In each pan you get about 1 gram of the eyeshadow, which is not crazy a lot, but I think it's enough. And at the point that I have so much makeup right now in my storage, I think that's a lot of eyeshadow. The palette comes with a mirror, which is a big plus, so you kind of get the neutrals and some browns and some reds and some of the teal shades, and I really like the whole combination of the colors. This is something that I really gravitate to. I like my neutrals, but I also like to have some pop of color in the palette. The palette has 4 shimmers and the rest are mattes, and I kind of feel like I want a little bit more shimmers and a little bit less mattes, but that's just me, crazy one, because I really like those shimmers. The shimmers are so pretty. So these are the 3 shimmers, and they are so pretty. Now when it comes to the formula, I have some issues. When I swatched the shades, most of the mattes were not pigmented and they swatched super patchy, and I was super disappointed. I think the only shade that kind of swatched really good was the Caramello, the brown, light brown shade, and the Vibra. Everything else was super patchy and really not pigmented, so I was really concerned that the palette would not have enough pigment when you apply it on the eyes. While the shimmers swatched really nicely, and the only one that I'm so about is the Corona. I find that this shade is a little bit chunky than the rest. The rest are really pretty. Even though it still looks really pretty, I'm wearing it right now on my eyes. I find that this shade particular is best applied with the finger than with the wet brush. All other shimmers, I think, are better applied with a wet brush. I think you get that more foiled look, with the exception of the Corona, the yellow shade. The website claims that the palette is highly pigmented. I don't think the palette is highly pigmented. I think it's buildable. So initially when you start applying the eyeshadow, it will not give you like a kick of color right away. You'd have to build it, keep dipping in the palette, keep building the color, and that's how you get the pigment, like the higher pigmentation. It is not like Anastasia, Beverly Hills. You kind of apply it and it's right away the full pigment. This is more like a buildable formula. I'm gonna insert the swatches and I'm gonna talk about each shade and what I like, what I didn't, if I like this shade or not. So the first shade we have is Luna. Luna is more like a beige shade, and I like to have something lighter to set my eye primer with, and I like this shade. It is pigmented but it's also a little bit powdery. Then we have Cafecito. It's swatched like super not pigmented and patchy, and when I applied it, it was really patchy. It can be blended away, like you have to really blend and spend your time. It's a pretty shade and it's also a buildable shade. Estrella is just simply gorgeous, and it kind of reminds me on the swatch of the Chisme highlighter, and I think it is very pretty shade. Then we have Silosa. Silosa is super pretty, one of my favorite shades in the palette, but applied with wet brush, it gets more foiled look. The second row we have Malbec. Malbec swatch super not pigmented and patchy, and when I applied on the eyes it had the same story, not pigmented, buildable, but also super patchy on the eyes. Then we have Patrona. Gorgeous shade. Have no issues with shimmers in this palette. Then we have Vibra. Vibra showed as very pigmented and even when swatched. I had few issues when blending the shade. It was a little bit patchy but blendable, but still patchy. Then we have Siren. Sienna. It's swatched patchy. It is a buildable shade. It applied super patchy on the eyes. I had to really blend for a good couple of minutes to blend away the color to make it less crazy patchy than it showed up initially. The final row we have Corona, and that's the shade that I think is a bit chunky. It's still pretty. It will cause some fallout when you apply it with a finger to your eyes before you do the rest of the makeup, because you're gonna have pretty much fallout everywhere on your face. Then we have Sangria. It's swatched as not pigmented. It was okay, and I cannot say it's super pigmented when you apply it on eyes. Definitely is buildable. You'll have to build and build and build. I didn't find it to be as opaque as it is in the pan. Caramello swatched super even, and it's actually one of the few shades that swatched really good, and it is a nice shade. It's a bit powdery, but I like it. I think it is pretty shade, and it applied less patch than the rest of the shade. And finally, Lola. When I applied it, has not much of a kickback. It showed pretty when I kind of built the color to the opacity. It is buildable but super uneven. The swatch was really bad. My opinion on the palette is that the website claims that it's highly pigmented and applies evenly. I don't think it applies evenly in any shape or form. I think the eyeshadows, the matte eyeshadows, are super patchy. They're not super pigmented. They're buildable to the full pigment, but they're not pigmented with the first kind of kick. That's what I kind of have to say about the palette. Now, let's talk about the lips. So they released 3 matte lipsticks and 2 satin lipsticks, and I never ever tried their either satin or matte. I had no idea, to be honest, how the formula feels and everything, so it was kind of for me testing the formula and testing the shade. The packaging is really similar to everything else. It has the same vibes, the same floral vibes, and this is how the lipstick packaging looks. So we have 3 mattes and 2 satins. In satin I have Mija and Chola, and in the mattes I have Besame, Flor and Secreto. Both of the formulas are super opaque. They're not streaky. They really layer on your lips really beautifully. I'm gonna insert the swatches of how they look on my lips now. After that, we're gonna talk a little bit more about the formula and what I like and what I don't like. So each lipstick will cost you $6.5 US if you buy it separately. You get about 3.2 grams in each lipstick. The applicator is a doe foot applicator, very standard for all Colourpop lipsticks or lip glosses. All of them I find super long wearing. Of course, matte lipsticks are transfer proof while satins are not transfer proof. Now, when it comes to matte lipsticks, I know a lot of people don't like it because the formula is drying, but I didn't find that the formula was drying. It felt like kind of nothing on the lips, and I find the formula is very much identical to the Tarte lip paint, the matte lip paints. I love this formula. I think it's really amazing formula. The Colourpop Ultra Matte Lips feel exactly the same as Tarte lip paint, and I was super shocked because I really like Tarte formula with the matte lipsticks, and I'm kind of happy that they discovered that, and they're perfect dupe in terms of the formula, so this is really nice to discover. This is how the 3 swatches of the Ultra Matte lipstick look. So the first one I have is Besame, then I have Flor, and the final one is Secreto. I really like all of the shades. I think they're super pretty. One thing is that they're pain to remove. They're so hard to remove, it's incredible. With the exception of Besame, I found that that shade was a little bit easier to remove than the other two. Now, in terms of the satin lipsticks, that's how they swatch. Super opaque, very even, no issues whatsoever. I'm really happy with the actual quality, the formula. The problem that I have is they stink so badly, like an expired product, but also it's like, I don't know, it kind of makes me feel like an expired silicone based product. I don't know, it's just the feeling that I get. I hate how it smells. It kind of reminds me of KKW lipsticks. That's why I hate those lipsticks, because they smell exactly the same. I don't think they expired. I think it's just the way they smell. And I find that mija smells a little bit stronger than Chola. I don't know, at least that's how it is in what I got. I don't know if it's different and it kind of varies. The smell kind of puts me off. And the other thing, I found the satin lipsticks are drying, and I was super shocked to feel this way. I was sure that matte lipsticks, I would hate them because they would be drying, but no, I find that satin lipsticks are more drying than matte. I find that they kind of settle more in my lines, and the more like I smile, the more I talk, I kind of get more and more wrinkles on my lips, which I don't really like. The lipstick that I'm wearing right now on my lips is Mija, the Satin Lips. I think it's a beautiful color. I like all the colors actually. It's just the formula is a bit too drying for my liking. I much prefer ultra matte, and probably I'm the only one that actually prefers ultra matte as opposed to ultra satin lips. I wanted to kind of guide you through what I have on my eyes. I know my eye look a little bit crazy today, but I decided I wanted to try every single shade. So here we are, trying every single shade on my eyes. So first, I obviously started with Luna. I set my eye primer. I used MAC Paint Pot. I don't even know if I need to tell you again every single time that I use MAC Paint Pot as my eye primer, because that's the only primer that I use. That's the only primer that I like. Then I started blending Sirena, which is more like a teal color, light teal color, and it was super patchy and uneven. Then I moved to the Vibra, more like a deeper teal shade, and I blended until I was more or less satisfied with the patchiness situation. And finally I applied Corona on my lid. That's pretty much what it is on my eyes. So let's kind of summarize everything in the collection. I don't really like the highlighters. I find them a little bit too glittery for my liking. If I were to choose one, I would go for Chisme. I find the formula is a bit different and a little bit less glittery than Princesa. For the lipsticks, I like the matte formula. I don't like the satin formula. All the shades I think are super beautiful, and I really like the shade selection. I think every single one is gorgeous. It's just the formula kind of, I give a preference to the matte than to satin and the smell. And matte formula doesn't have any smell, I think. Yeah, and matte formula doesn't have any smell. For the palette, I would not recommend you the palette. I try to like it so much, but I think the matte formula is super patchy. I have other Colourpop eyeshadows, and I never had so much problem blending an eyeshadow as I had with this particular palette. It takes a lot of time to build it, and even then it's gonna be still a tiny bit patchy. So yeah, shimmers are pretty, but I wouldn't recommend this palette, unfortunately, because of the matte formula. It's not worth it. Even at this price, I would like it to blend, and I spent too much time trying to blend this eyeshadow instead of, you know, enjoying and playing with my makeup. So that's pretty much the scoop. I hope you enjoyed the way I did the review. I decided I want to try to play with the product, really understand the product, go online, check out what they claim, what they not, and I kind of got all of it, and I tried every single shade. I tried to wear every single shade. One thing that I have to point out, that eyeshadow palette is super long wearing. There is no crease and nothing, like no fading happening throughout the day. It's just the blendability, oh my god, it's so crazy. You can fix it by applying shimmer on top, but it's still gonna be a little bit patchy, and yeah, I don't think it's kind of worth the money. I think there are better eyeshadow palettes that Colourpop has than this one. So this is pretty much what it is. I hope you enjoyed my review. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow me on my Instagram, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah!